Welcome to my NHL Historic Rebuild series with the Columbus Blue Jackets from 2010-2011. The journey starts at the 2010 NHL Draft. We will be drafting 4 very important players for our team in Ryan Johansen, Tyler Toffoli, Stephen Johns, and Brendan Gallagher. These are going to be 4 vital players for our team moving forward. Now that we have drafted 4 key players for our team, let's trade some of our players that we wanted to get off our roster. 1, we are going to be trading Rick Nash, not because we want to get rid of him, but we want to get some good assets for the future. Like I said before, we are going to be trading Rick Nash, Hejad, and Nikita Filatov to the Washington Capitals for Braden, Holtby, Karl Alzner, and Thomas Fleischmann, as well as a first-round pick in 2012, which we'll be using to select Thomas Hertl. Rick Nash wanted out of Columbus for years. Instead of waiting until 2012, they should have traded him in the 2010-11 season because he was still in his prime then. This trade would be good for both sides because it gives Washington another star player to play in Washington. Filatov could have turned out okay with good coaching. Hejad would replace Alzner's spot in the lineup. Back in 2010, Braden Holtby was still a prospect, and the Blue Jackets would be rolling the dice in the good young goalie. Karl Alzner would be a very important piece in the defense moving forward. Fleischmann was skilled, but he was often injured. But when healthy, he would be a solid role player for them. Thomas Hertl would be a very versatile forward capable of playing center and wing. The second trade that the Blue Jackets will make is trading RJ Umberger, Scott Upshall, and Samuel Pahlsson to the Tampa Bay Lightning for Steve Downie, Nate Thompson, and a second-round pick in 2011, which we will be using to select Vincent Trochek. RJ Umberger just hasn't worked out for the Columbus Blue Jackets, so hopefully a change in scenery will help him. Scott Upshall struggled to crack the lineup, so you might as well give him the opportunities elsewhere. Samuel Pahlsson would be much more useful to a contending team. Steve Downie and Nate Thompson would be 2 good role players that you can plug into the lineup. Vincent Trochek is a good second-line center. Third move I make is waive David LeNeveu. With the addition of Braden Holtby, plus Steve Mason and Matthew Garon already on the roster, LeNeveu is no longer needed. Fourth move I make is trade Kristian Husalieus, Dorsett, and Grant Clintsome to the San Jose Sharks for Jason Demers, McGinn, and a 4th-round pick in 2012, which I used to select Jaccob Slavin. Kristian Husalieus isn't going to get any better for the Blue Jackets, so you should package him in a deal for younger players. Jason Demers will be a top 4 defenseman for the Blue Jackets. Dorsett and Clintsome are nice complementary players to the deal that will help out the depth for the San Jose Sharks. McGinn is a very versatile and valuable role player. Jaccob Slavin has top 4 potential. 5th trade I will make is trade Derek Dorsett, Fedor Tutin, and Maxim Mayarov to the New York Rangers for Dale Weiss, Michael Delzato, and a 2012 second-round pick, which will be used to select Jimmy BC. Derek Brassard may not be getting a true chance to succeed with the Columbus Blue Jackets, as we already have Ryan Johansen and Vincent Trochek penciled in as the number 1 and number 2 centers. Antoine Vermette would make a good number 3 center and wouldn't get as much in return as Derek Brassard would. Fedor Tutin is a good veteran defenseman the Rangers could use. Maxim Mirov would have to wait a while on this new look Columbus Blue Jackets team, so a change of scenery would be good for him. Dale Weiss would be an excellent third or fourth line winger. Delzato would be a good puck-moving defenseman to play on the third pair and second power play unit. Jimmy Vesey would play a big part in the team moving forward. The last trade I am going to make is to trade Chris Clark, Derek McKenzie, and Mark McGinn to the Nashville Predators for a 4th-round pick in 2011, a 4th-round pick in 2012, and Nick Spaulding. The 4th-round pick in 2011 will be used to select Tobias Ryder. The 4th-round pick in 2012 is used to select Connor Hellebuyck. This trade is really just to clear the roster so the young players can come up and play next year. Mark McGinn would be stuck as the 6th or 7th defenseman at best, so it would be best for him to get traded to a team that would use him more. Tobias Ryder would be a solid 2nd or 3rd line forward for the Blue Jackets. Connor Hellebuyck would have a few years to develop, or need a few years to develop, but we already have Braden, Holtby, and Steve Mason ahead of him in the depth chart, so the years he would need to develop are fine. Nick Spaulding would be a player you can plug into the lineup anywhere, and you can use him as a player as a replacement. Before we head into the 2011 draft, I want to make a note that originally, before the 2011 NHL draft, Jaccob was sent in a deal along with a 1st-round pick in the 2011 draft to the Philadelphia Flyers for Jeff Carter. The Flyers ended up taking Sean Couturier with the 1st-round pick. In this rebuild, however, the Blue Jackets are not trading for Jeff Carter, so they are going to be keeping Voracek. This means that the Blue Jackets will retain their 1st-round pick. So, in the 2011 NHL draft, the Blue Jackets will be selecting Dougie Hamilton, Boone Jenner, Vincent Trochek, and Tobias Ryder. These 4 players will be also very important players in the team moving forward. After all is said and done, the Blue Jackets would have added via trade Braden, Holtby, Karl Alzner, Thomas Fleischmann, Jason Demers, Jamie McGinn, Michael Delzato, Dale Weiss, Steve Downie, Nate Thompson, and Nick Spaulding. They would have added via draft Ryan Johansen, Tyler Toffoli, Stephen Johns, Brendan Gallagher, Dougie Hamilton, Vincent Trochek, Boone Jenner, Tobias Ryder, Jimmy Vesey, Connor Hellebuyck, and Jacob Slavin. They would have lost Rick Nash, Jan Hejad, Nikita Filatov, RJ Umberger, Scott Upshall, Samuel Pahlsson, Kristian Husalieus, Derek Dorsett, Grant Clintsome, Derek Brassard, Fedor Tutin, Maxim Mirov, Chris Clark, Derek McKenzie, Mark McGinn, and David LeNeveu. After rebuilding the mess known as the Columbus Blue Jackets, they will finally be in position to contend in maybe 3 or 4 years. At least now, you know the team will eventually be good as opposed to being the laughingstock of the NHL. Next, I will be rebuilding the 2014-15 Buffalo Sabres.